So far, we've followed the avoidant on their journey from gut-wrenching internal panic when silence severed every thread of connection to sleepless nights, racing heartbeats, and inexplicable dread. But is there a path that leads them from that peak of terror back to inner peace? How can they transform overwhelming panic into a source of calm, learning to steady both their mind and their heart even when everything around them is shaking? The key lies in self-regulation, not just a psychological tool, but a spiritual and energetic practice that empowers each person to realize they are not victims of their emotions, but active architects of their inner frequency. When a soul learns to tune into the breath, to observe passing thoughts, and to transmute anxious energy into a comforting warmth, the siege of panic loses its authority. In this video, I'm unveiling a 5-step self-regulation ritual infused with mindfulness and sacred energy practices, from frequency-raising meditation to an energy journal ceremony, and the secret of harnessing your inner light to dispel stress. You'll discover how the avoidant can master deep, deliberate breathing to soothe waves of unease, how to create an internal safe container that holds firm regardless of external upheavals, and how to convert fear into the fuel for healing. Stay tuned until the end to unlock these powerful methods, so silence no longer triggers a runaway panic, but instead becomes the doorway to self-mastery and genuine restoration. This is the blueprint that guides them from chaos to tranquility, from reactivity to intentional calm, an essential guide for anyone ready to reclaim control of their inner world. The moment silence ignites their inner panic, the first mechanism triggered is the fight, flight, freeze response, an ancient survival reflex, activated when perceived danger strikes. When that energetic connection is abruptly severed, their brain immediately sounds the alarm. Without an external signal of safety, the nervous system shifts into one of 3 modes: fight, flight, or freeze. In the fight phase, they may erupt in anger thoughts racing, "Why did they leave me?" or lash out in attempts to reclaim control. During the flight phase, they withdraw entirely, refusing calls, disabling notifications, even blocking contact. And in the freeze phase, they become motionless, unable to think clearly, stranded in the eye of their own emotional storm. Though these reactions unfold within seconds or minutes, without proper self-regulation tools, panic does not end there but lingers, wreaking havoc on mind and body. Their thoughts loop endlessly over worst-case scenarios. Will I ever find a way out? Why has this person decided to abandon me? Am I even worthy of love? Each of these thoughts acts like a jolt of electricity, stimulating the adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline, causing the heart to race even while nowhere to run, and muscles to tighten even when no physical threat exists. This energy, if not discharged, accumulates into chronic fatigue, insomnia, pervasive anxiety, and physical symptoms like chest pain, palpitations, or difficulty breathing. They become trapped in a vicious cycle. Panic begets more panic. The original trigger is never neutralized, and their survival reflex, meant to protect them, becomes a relentless tormentor. Why does panic persist? Because most of us never learn how to master the autonomic nervous system. Spiritually, we know energy moves with consciousness, but if one lacks self-regulation skills, negative energy whirls endlessly without release. They don't realize a simple sequence of slow, conscious breaths, a minute of focused meditation, or even a ritual of writing down their emotions can create the critical space between a trigger and a reaction. Without such skills, their mind remains stuck in a primitive reflex loop, and the brain cannot differentiate between real and imagined. Threat severy, unfounded fear, is processed as a life or death scenario. Thus, panic becomes not a momentary feeling, but a prolonged ordeal, where their body lives on high alert round the clock, and their soul is denied any rest. With no self-regulation magic wand, they find no answers to questions like, how do I stop when no one is there to hold me? Or, how can I breathe normally when my heart pounds relentlessly? This is why external logic or advice alone falls short. They must learn to actively downshift their internal energy, sending their nervous system a new message of safety, thereby releasing cortisol, reducing adrenaline, and restoring equilibrium. In the next section, we will explore concrete self-regulation tools, from mindfulness, meditation, and high-frequency breathing exercises to energy journaling rituals and sound healing techniques designed to help them transform panic into peace. By mastering these practices, the avoidant not only gains emotional mastery but also learns to generate positive inner energy, no matter the external turbulence. Stay tuned to unlock the blueprint for steadying the mind and heart when the storm hits. Having grasped the nature of panic and why it can persist, let us now turn to the self-regulation tools practices that transform primal survival reactions into states of serenity. First, mindfulness meditation is essential. Find a comfortable seated position, hands resting lightly on your thighs, eyes gently closed, and anchor your attention on the breath. Begin with the 4 to 7 -8 breathing exercise. Inhale quietly through the nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for 7 counts, and exhale completely through the mouth for 8 counts. As you practice, feel each breath pass through your lungs and each exhale release tension. A next level step is listening to your heartbeat. Place a hand on your chest or find your pulse at the wrist, focusing on the thump-thump rhythm as if it were the body's own music. Throughout the meditation, any intrusive thought should be acknowledged and then gently released, like a leaf drifting away on a pond, allowing you to remain grounded in the rhythm of your breath. Next, energy journaling serves as a ritual for observing and transforming emotions. Set aside 10-15 minutes each morning or evening to record every state you experience: anxiety, anger, emptiness, or hope. Do not merely write, "I feel anxious." Instead, detail the physical sensations. My heart pounds so hard, my throat tightens, and it feels like a stone is pressing on my chest. By identifying recurring patterns, you will uncover root causes, perhaps a fear of rejection or unhealed past trauma. Then practice linguistic transformation. For every negative description, write a corresponding positive affirmation, such as, "I trust in my capacity for calm," or "My breath brings me peace." The energy journal is not just a log, but an inner ceremony that helps rewire your emotional frequency. Finally, healing vibration combines spiritual insight with scientific grounding. Sound has true therapeutic power. The 528 Hz frequency, known as the love frequency, promotes cellular regeneration and soothes the nervous system. You can listen to music or Tibetan singing bowls tuned to this frequency during meditation, or create your own mantra man inner chant like Om Shanti or I am peace, repeated in sync with your breath. Repeating a mantra aligns speech, breath, and vibration, establishing a new energetic field within the body. Alternatively, use a sound healing app or a 528 Hz recording, placing your device at a distance and immersing yourself in the gentle resonance. This frequency will ease spiritual wounds, flush cortisol from the system, and grant you authentic moments of tranquility. By integrating these 3 tools, mindfulness, energy, journaling, and healing vibration, into your daily routine, you not only halt prolonged panic, but also construct an internal safety framework. This framework empowers you to regulate your state regardless of external turmoil. With just a few minutes each day, you regenerate peaceful energy, release cortisol, and activate the parasympathetic response that calms the heart. Experiment and track your progress as each individual finds the ideal combination unique to themselves. In the next section, we will explore how to apply this safety framework in real-life situations so that the avoidant not only weathers emotional storms, but also guides the soul toward enduring serenity, no matter the tempest outside. Once you've mastered your energy self-regulation tools, the next step is to establish an internal safety framework, a sanctuary you can always return to when emotional storms hit. The first action is to create a daily check-in habit. Every morning upon waking and every night before sleep, dedicate 5-10 minutes to sit quietly. Place your hand over your heart and ask yourself, how am I today and what am I feeling? This practice not only helps you identify your state at the beginning and end of each day, but also alerts you to subtle signs of inner unrest. Over time, this check-in routine becomes an inner compass, preventing you from being swept away by sudden emotional surges. Next, you must learn to distinguish between fleeting sensations and core emotions so you don't react impulsively. A fleeting sensation is like a passing breeze. It might be the jolt when you hear your phone buzz, or a sudden pang at a notification being read. Core emotions run deeper. Fear of abandonment, chronic loneliness, or a longing for genuine love. When you acknowledge a fleeting sensation, I felt startled just now, and then let it pass, you avoid getting trapped in an automatic spiral. Instead, you create space for your core emotion. I'm experiencing a deep lack of security. And then address it perhaps through a breathing exercise or a positive affirmation such as, I am safe. I deserve love. Finally, create simple personal rituals to reinforce your safety framework. You don't need elaborate ceremonies, just a scented candle and a favorite essential oil diffuser. To start each day, light the candle, add a few drops of oil, and recite 3-5 affirmations like, I honor myself. I am strong enough to overcome. Each breath brings peace. The flickering flame and gentle aromas serve as sensory anchors, reminding you to return to your calm center. In the evening, relight the candle, bask in the scent's tranquility, and repeat other affirmations such as, I release the day with forgiveness, I let go of worry. These rituals soothe your nervous system and create the tangible feeling that I am in a safe space right within your own heart. By regularly checking in, distinguishing between passing sensations and core emotions, and practicing daily affirmation rituals, you have built a robust internal safety framework. In any scenario, a message unanswered, a missed call, or unexpected silence, you can retreat here to recharge, calm your mind, and move forward. This framework is flexible enough to accompany you through every emotional fluctuation, yet sturdy enough to guard against impulsive reactions. It lays the foundation for the avoidant not only to self-regulate in panic, but to journey toward lasting peace. Building on your internal safety framework, the next crucial skill is learning to shift from automatic reaction to conscious response, where the avoidant no longer lets emotions dictate every action, but instead creates a small pause to regain control. In real life, when faced with a stressor, say a message left unread or extended silence from their anxious partner, instead of letting their heart pound and immediately scrambling to send another text or erupting in frustration, they practice a deceptively simple yet powerful technique. Pause for 5 seconds, take a deep inhalation, and exhale slowly 3 times before choosing how to act. Those 5 seconds and 3 breaths function as a reset button, allowing the brain to shift from a fight-flight-freeze mode into a calmer brainwave state. By drawing a deep breath and feeling the air fill their lungs, they not only steady their heartbeat, but also signal the brain to lower cortisol while stimulating the neurotransmitter GABA to alleviate anxiety. This practice is often called creating a mindful pause between trigger and reaction, a psychological pivot that transforms mental energy into mindful control. In daily life, an avoidant might use this skill anywhere. When their phone buzzes, they gently press the silence button, inhale deeply, and count to 5. When a negative thought spikes their anxiety, they close their eyes, draw a slow breath, hold briefly, and then release it, observing the sensation in their body as an impartial witness. Each instance forms a pocket of tranquility, a breath space where they can perceive the cause and effect of their feelings, then craft a suitable response by reassuring themselves, I am okay. This is just a passing thought. Neuroscience research confirms that every intentional pause, even a few seconds long, helps regulate the sympathetic nervous system, preventing cortisol from spiking further, and simultaneously engages the parasympathetic system. GABA, the inhibitory neurotransmitter that calms neural activity, is released in greater amounts during deep, slow breathing. In practicing 3 measured breaths, they are not just cooling down their personal emotions, but re-establishing a mind-body connection that reassures the nervous system, I am safe, no matter what. This is the distinction between reaction, an arrow fired blindly at any perceived threat, and response, an arrow deliberately aimed, striking the heart of the matter with a composed mind. In practice, you'll see avoidant individuals employ this technique to navigate all forms of stress, from deadlines that loom at work to relational conflicts, or the panic of unexpected bad news. That brief pause becomes a conditioned reflex, much like a clock chime that signals relaxation, aligning heart rate and breath into a steady pattern so they can continue tasks or conversations with greater confidence. Indeed, this mindful pause methodology transforms their life quality from being a slave to emotion to being the architect of serenity. When they master their breath and harness neuroscience to flush cortisol and boost GABA, they not only heal old wounds but also build a robust mental foundation, resilient to any external upheaval. They no longer require external reminders or control. Their cultivated inner strength, nurtured with each breath and pause, empowers them to face any emotional storm. From that point forward, the avoidance ceases to be reactive. They become responsive, gentle, yet steadfast, anchored by their internal safety framework and guiding their life with the calm energy they have learned to create. And that is the pivotal turning point, moving from reactive outbursts to conscious responses as the avoidant learns to insert a small pause between trigger and reaction, using the breath as a powerful tool to restore internal balance. They discover that 5 seconds a moment that seems insignificant can convert a panic attack into the strength of serenity. They understand that it's not about running away or avoidance, but rather about stopping, taking a deep breath, and focusing on each inhalation and exhalation, which truly releases cortisol, stimulates GABA, and illuminates the path back to stillness. With consistent practice, the habit of pausing for 3 deliberate breaths becomes second nature. Whenever anxiety flares up, they simply draw a full breath to reclaim their sense of safety. This isn't just a momentary stress relief technique. It's proof of the inner power everyone can unlock. Each time an avoidant opts to respond rather than react, they not only master the situation, a dropped text, a tense conversation, but master themselves. They step out of the shell of perpetual escape and become the pilot of their own emotional vessel. Throughout this journey, there will be moments when they feel weak, tempted to give up, but those very moments become the anchors that heighten awareness of their inner resilience. No one can stop their breath. No one can force their automatic reflexes. Only they can decide, pause or keep charging forward. And when they choose to pause, peace arrives not loudly, but gently, like dawn's light reflected on a tranquil lake. Remember, this skill doesn't need a crisis to be practiced. A few conscious breaths each morning or a mindful pause during a busy day is enough to reinforce this internal safety framework. That framework lays the foundation for the next phase of the journey, opening up authentically and building healthy connections with oneself first and then with others. That will be our final topic, where we'll explore how the avoidant, having mastered inner self-regulation, fosters relationships grounded in mutual understanding, respectful boundaries, and genuine sharing. Finally, start today. When emotions surge, pause, inhale deeply, and listen to your heart. No matter how chaotic the world around you becomes, you can always return to your mindful pause to reconnect with the infinite well of inner peace. By turning those silent seconds into conscious steps, you not only heal yourself, but inspire others, because inner calm is a priceless gift we all deserve to receive and share. If you found these insights helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share to ensure you don't miss the final installment of our series where we'll discover how the avoidant builds authentic relationships after their journey of self-mastery and inner healing. See you in the next video.